stand here as a proud Albertan and a proud Canadian. Tariffs will hurt everyone. I think we all know that. We all recognize that every Albertan will feel the pinch of increasing costs with exports and imports increasing in cost. And this is coming at a time of an affordability crisis where we're already feeling that pinch. So of course we should advocate for Alberta's industries and impacts to Albertans in the face of these tariffs. And we need to work together collaboratively to find solutions that will benefit Albertans and their businesses. Trade is critical to our economy. In thinking about what I wanted to say today, I really reflected on the great riding of Banff-Kananaskis because our riding economy is very diverse, from cattle ranching and farming to tourism and small entrepreneurial efforts. Each of those businesses will be impacted by the increased costs of exports. Albertans want us to have a well-designed plan that protects jobs, lifestyles, and livelihoods. They want us to be a government that leads by example and that demonstrates solutions regardless of what Trump is doing on the other side of the border. We need a government that is focused on the success of Albertans and the Alberta economy. All right. I mean, I feel like there's some perceptions of what success looks like. I'm talking about all Albertans, not just my friends in high places. Instead of creating a strong plan that will support all Albertans, our Premier is wasting energy, time, and money trying to charm Trump into changing his mind. I'm not sure that anybody can change this man's mind. He is a very spectacular human. He does and says a lot of things. Nobody really knows who his influencers are, but it's for sure not the Premier of Alberta. So surprise, surprise, her efforts haven't really worked. The tariffs are still coming. My constituents are asking us to have a coordinated, united approach with other provinces and Canada. They want us to stand together. It's not something that we are perceived as doing. So what am I hearing from my constituents more specifically? Well, from small businesses and tourism-related businesses, I'm hearing a lot of fear and concern about what their cost to do business will look like with tariffs and retaliatory tariffs. We know that anything that's exported or imported is going to cost more money. Those increased costs will be passed on to the consumer. We've talked about the devaluation of the Canadian dollar and some pretty big implications. This is why I think we need to be thinking ahead as a provincial government and putting measures in place that will support local businesses and entrepreneurs. And those systems should be at the forefront of government procurement plans and of any planning. We need to look beyond what happens when the tariffs come into place. How will we make sure that all Albertans have an opportunity to prosper and thrive regardless of what is happening on the other side of the border? And what I'm hearing from my constituents is that they're not seeing that kind of response from this provincial government right now. People always think Banff-Kananaskis is about tourism and mountain biking, and there's certainly a lot of that happening. But we do have 3 large industry players in the Bow Valley: Lafarge, Bay-Meg, and Greymont. Lafarge produces, you might not know this, but Lafarge is the largest cement producer in Canada, and 80% of the buildings in Western Canada are built with Lafarge cement. They're kind of a big deal. But 80% of the buildings in Canada, they've already got great interprovincial trade relationships. Greymont and Bay-Meg are smaller facilities. Greymont produces lime and limestone. And these calcium-based solutions are important for operational infrastructure support, vital industrial construction, agricultural processes and requirements. Their applications include air and water purification, extraction and processing of critical minerals, and they have locations across North America. If the tariffs come into place and it becomes cheaper for them to do business at those other locations, I'm worried about what that will mean for the Greymont plant in Exshaw. where hundreds of people currently work. So those jobs are at risk in my riding with these tariffs. I've also had pretty significant conversations with Baymag, who supplies magnesium oxide, essential to industries that feed, empower, and ensure clean water across Canada and the US. Basically, Baymag mines magnesium carbonate in BC and then refines that in Exshaw to become magnesium oxide. It is the only operation of its kind in Canada, and the magnesium oxide that it produces is of such high quality that it is renowned across North America. It is a critical component for industries treating water in oil and gas productions, nutrient supplement and animal feed for beef and dairy, and it's cleaning water in key municipalities' wastewater treatments across North America. Their ability to meet growing demand and investment will be impacted by these tariffs. And so Baymag is asking for magnesium oxide to be considered as being included in the list of critical minerals in this trade discussion. I really hope that the members opposite can consider that when they're having all of these wonderful conversations with people in the States who are clearly just waiting for direction from Alberta before proceeding with their plans. My riding is dependent on the jobs created and maintained by these industrial partners. They're a big part of who we are in Banff-Kananaskis, and we need to make sure that they are protected as well. I also have ranchers and agriculturalists in the riding. We know that agriculture and ranching is very exposed in this international trade war. Exports to the US typically increase year over year, and beef is our biggest export, and a lot of that beef comes from Banff-Kananaskis. Live cattle and beef supply chain between Canada and the US makes up the largest two-way trade in live cattle and beef in the world, and I'm definitely grateful for every single steak and ground beef and roast that currently sits inside my freezer that I get from an Alberta rancher every year. What do we need here? We need solutions instead of rhetoric. We need solutions that will strengthen our internal economy. Buy local, buy Albertan, buy Canadian. Across Banff-Kananaskis, I feel so blessed that literally I can buy everything in my riding made by people who live in or very close to my riding. We need Government of Alberta procurement. I know that this is a very controversial topic right now because there's some questions around procurement, but maybe we could be working with Canadian companies and have a government that leads by example, buying Canadian at the government level. We need to diversify our markets and celebrate new trade relationships, getting our energy products to markets other than the US. Thank you.